What is going on, YouTube? PPS back here. It is past the prop Monday. It's a little bit earlier than usual, but we're coming at you guys. Want to make sure we get you guys some plays for today. This is just a FYI before we get into everything. Is make sure you're following us over on Twitter for the updates on everything. I'm not sure how Wednesday's going to work either yet. We'll still figure out if a time works for either one of us, but we're here bringing in some NBA plays for you guys today. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. It was a pretty solid week. I feel like I started a little bit slow, but ended pretty strong with that Sunday night football game. Obviously, was a great game right there. So I'm just excited to keep it going. Now we've got a good NFL game today, and we've also got a good NBA slate. Both of those things don't normally happen on the same day too often. So I'm just excited to make the most of it today.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. There was a lot of crazy NFL action last night and yesterday overall. Chiefs are still kings of the AFC. They continue to just find a way to win. What was your biggest takeaway from that one? I mean, the spread was pretty close, right? I think the Chargers still covered, but Chiefs always just find a way to win in those late games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows the Chiefs are the team to beat. Mahomes is the MVP. I think those two things are pretty clear. But it also shows, hey, the Chargers are pretty good, right? They didn't have those weapons for that long amount of time, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams both came back. And that actually led to even a good game from Josh Palmer, who finally was done seeing cornerback ones and could kind of exploit some better matchups. So it really shows that this team, when firing on all cylinders, is a good team, right? They're a very strong offensive team. I know Everett isn't even back yet. He'll obviously improve that even more. So I think these are both very strong teams. But yeah, the Chiefs are a scary team, man. They're the one team I would not want to play no matter what, pretty much.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I think the Chargers, they don't lose anything from that one. I mean, Williams played 2 snaps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like that happened. You had 50% snap count on Keenan Allen, and you still are that close with the Chiefs. I mean, I think they're going to be a tough out when it comes playoff time. I think they're going to find a way to squeak in. They finally showed that with everybody, Herbert is actually a good quarterback. Everybody's been thrashing him. I'm like, bro, how do you even say that when you have none of your top 3 weapons out there, and finally got them back and healthy was good to see, even if it was only for a couple plays.
Yeah, well, even that first drive of the game, that just bomb, that immediate response and score was like, okay, the Chargers are back now. You know what I mean? That, like you said, that was one of the 3 snaps with Mike Williams still out there, but it felt good. It felt like the Chargers were back. So that's good for football, right? More competitive games, more high-scoring games. That's good for our Justin Herbert props of the future.
Yeah, and what I did like, I ended up, there's a couple guys in here that are in my VIP stuff, and I was up 11 points in a PPR league. They had Kelsey on that last drive. He scored, I think he scored 10.8 on that touchdown. So I ended up winning by 0.02, the closest I've ever had it, and puts Kelsey into the league lead of touchdowns, which you guys know that was one of my future bets for this year. That's my biggest one I put on. So hopefully he can continue this. It's just he's on another planet, man. He's pushing top 3 wide receiver overall numbers right now. I think he's like the 4th in fantasy points per game. It's wild just how good he is.
It's crazy, man. Kelsey does this every single week every week too. We have these arguments on Twitter where people go, well, the defense is going to be prepared for Travis Kelsey. It's like, yeah, they've been prepared for Travis Kelsey every week for the last, 5 years. And this season, there's not even anyone to really scare you away. It's just the Travis Kelsey show, and he's still getting it done week in and week out. So I'm excited he keeps getting those touchdowns for you. That 3-touchdown game a couple of weeks ago was pretty huge, and hopefully we can cash that ticket as the season, ends up.
Yeah, I was so close to throwing my phone, dog, because I was up 36 points or 38 points heading into that game. He had Kelsey left, and they ended up scoring like 37-8. And I'm like, frick, dude. Hey, a win's a win. I ain't going to complain. And we went 2-1 in fantasy this week, so we can't be too mad. Let's take a look at who's in the chat here before we get into one more piece of business here. We got Jay, Ryan. Awesome to see you guys in here early this morning. Terrence, Turbo. Craig talking about the Robinson touches. Dude, I was so pissed. I ended up cashing Robinson carries because we talked about that one. I ended up taking it, but damn, dude, they're just giving Gibson the ball even inside the 5, and that just didn't make any sense to me. The dude is not running people over. I don't understand that logic at all.
Yeah, man, I was on full tilt. I mean, we got that last carry at the last pause. I mean, I thought once that drive started, they started with 2 Robinson touches. I'm like, there we go. Let's finish it off. Then Gibson the guy with the fumbling problem that's been benched multiple times for a fumbling problem is the guy that then you bring in to seal the game. It was ridiculous. I was so angry. I'm just glad that we talked about it on the show. I was close to Robinson as one of my plays, but I said, you know what? I'm going to wait for the carries. He's been so inefficient this season. And unfortunately, a lot of people missed. Well, we just barely got that carries in. So it just kind of shows sometimes it's very easy to jump at the first thing. You know, they purposefully put out Robinson rush yards on like Wednesday, right? And we didn't get, rush attempts until Friday night, Saturday morning, something like that. Actually, probably a little later than that. So it just shows they're pretty smart with the way you do things. So we have to kind of return and be as patient as possible in some of these situations.
And talk about being smart. Book's absolutely calling the Cowboys thrashing, putting out that sketchy line right away. And it's like, something's up, right? Something's got to be up. And just an absolute dismantling of the Vikings. 3:25 is now officially a primetime game, so keep that in your mind for any other Vikings game. That dude is absolute garbage.
It's America's game of the week, man. And like we've said, Kirk Cousins, once the pressure gets in his face, man, the drop-off is absolutely insane. And that's all the Cowboys are. They're going to get pressure in your face. If they're going to do anything on the football field, that will be it. If that Cowboys offense kind of connects at the right time and all the pieces come together, I don't know if you've seen this. I think OBJ goes to the Cowboys. I think I would bet money if you can right now that's going to happen. So once that all comes together, Dallas is probably the scariest team. Maybe that right now, I'm very scared of Dallas, right? I'm more scared of Dallas than I am of the Eagles. As a big Washington fan, I'm watching this very closely because I think we're going to squeak in as well. So I don't know. The Cowboys, if that offense kind of puts all the pieces together at the right time and they peak at the end of the year, it's going to be extremely hard to stop that team.
Yeah, you just got to cut Zeke, bro. You might win. You might win the whole thing. You cut Zeke. Best. I keep feeling better and better every week after my hot Tony Pollard take before it all went off. So I'm feeling better and better, man. He put up a 38 piece for me in fantasy. I ended up winning a fantasy league with 6 players scoring less than 7 points. And I find a way to win because I had Tony Pollard and Tyler Bass, the greatest player in football, I guess. A nice little 24-piece week from a kicker, and Maher, too. I know everybody was ripping up they're all ripping up Schefter because Schefter posted that he made 2 60-yarders when the first 60-yarder didn't count. Like, dude, watch the damn game if you're going to freaking be live tweeting this shit. So, yeah, I'm going to go back, I think, and get a clip from that Pollard hot take there saying he was going to average 150 without Zeke, and I think he might be over that. I think he might actually be over the 150-yard total mark.
Well, yeah, maybe we're going to have to change that hot take to he's going to average 150 with Zeke in the lineup, right? Because that's what we're seeing. I mean, and that's too kind of what I meant about this offense clicking is, I mean, you can't deny Pollard anymore, right? I've been kind of part of the, hey, I think you need to limit his carries. Once again, I never said he's a bad running back. Okay, I don't want that reputation.
We'll have to get to the replay there, like that one commercial. Go to the replay and see what Stu actually said there.
Yeah, like a politician, I'm going to be backtracking as hard as possible right here, trying to dig myself out of that hole. But man, it's undeniable. He's got to be Zeke can be the goal line back, right? Because we saw Pollard go to the goal line. He got stuffed 2 times in a row. It brought Zeke in. He scored. That works for him. He can be the short yardage back. But if it's not a clear pass blocking situation, because he's also a much better pass blocker, or a goal line situation, I don't think Cowboys fans ever want to see Zeke again out there.
Yeah, and I know AC came on and said that they just didn't want to pay him. But, I mean, if you're trying to win games, you need him in more than Zeke. It's not even close at this point. Pollard doing some big things. It is Pollard season. I know Terrence always in there repping that Pollard season. I'm going to be take my 2 hot takes were the GOAT Geno Smith and Tony Pollard. So I'll take those for my year-long hot takes, and I'll take those all day long. Anything else you want to talk about for NFL before we get into recapping?
Washington got the win, baby. Playoff bound. Put in that -3 already for next week against Atlanta. I've already bet it. I think you should too. We're going to keep it rolling. Let's go.
I am officially off the Washington bandwagon. I will be taking Atlanta to win because of how much I hate their coach, in Ron Rivera and his dumbass stuff. I will officially be fading Washington every single game now. I have to. He hurt me too much. I had Brian Robinson, and I'm watching just Ron Rivera just wanting to screw me over, and he continues to do it. So I am officially probably on the opposite side of you on every single game the rest of the season for Washington because I hate Rivera that much. And it's not your fault. It's not any of that. But Curtis Samuel is a bitch. I don't care. I needed him to do that touchdown last week, dude. You score that touchdown, I win. I put him on my bench. He scores a rushing touchdown. Hand the damn ball off to Brian Robinson inside the 5. It's ridiculous. I don't even know who the rest of their season is, but I got to be all-time Falcons now. I'm cheering for Mariota to throw the ball 8 times and run it 54 times next week, and it's a terrible matchup. It should be like -6. I don't get it, but hey, this just kind of screams like one of those plays that we were talking about last week, where it's just screaming at you to take it, and I got to cheer for the other team now. All-time fade Rivera.
That's what people said last week against the Texans, too. Oh, it's a letdown game. They just beat the Eagles on prime time. And then we fucking destroyed them because they're a bad team and we're a better team. And that's going to happen once again to the Falcons. We mentioned it briefly. Marcus Mariota can't throw the ball. That's how you beat Washington. You just need a guy to come in here and throw the ball 40 times on every single play, and you destroy us. Marcus Mariota might be the worst passing quarterback in the NFL this season besides Baker Mayfield. So, it's
worse than Zach Wilson, bro.
That's fair. He's a CFL quarterback.
Man, that's a hotter take than me fading the Washington football team for the rest of the year. Because I watched Zach Wilson play for about 10 minutes yesterday, and I almost ripped my eyes out as I had the Jets defense, which was awesome. But yeah, that's a very hot take. If you're going to take Mariota over Zach Wilson, or think he's worse than Zach Wilson, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Yeah. They got to bench his ass, don't they?
Yeah, I would rather see Mike White, the Canadian legend, in there come in and take over, or Joe Flacco.
Flacco, baby. He wants to be the next Geno, and he will be the hot take of the show. I will be betting Joe Flacco immediately. Don't matter who they play. I don't care if they're playing the Hall of Fame team, dude. All in their prime. Joe Flacco finds a way to my card when he gets out there. It doesn't matter what happens. But, yeah, Flacco season, baby. Flacco season. I love that. Absolutely love it. And let's just – it's going to suck to go over this because I fucking hate Derek Carr forever now because of that trash. Broncos absolutely cooked him the whole entire time. 137 yards at half. Pretty sure he had 150 going into the fourth, and they just blow a 60-yard coverage to a running back, and that just destroys this. Obviously, get sent to overtime and give up another. I think Surtain got absolutely cooked by Devontae and just made this look way worse than it should have been. I thought I had this one in the bag, and all I needed was Russell Wilson to get a 5-yard conversion. And this man throws an incomplete, just run it or stay in bounds, idiot. Like, it's terrible. That team is so bad. I was literally like, dude, I don't care what you do. Just stay in bounds. And he throws it away. Just terrible, terrible execution.
Yeah. Fortunately for me, I watched 0 seconds of this football game. I'll have to painfully rewatch it. But I was box score watching with you. And yeah, it was looking good for a while. But man, that, like you said, those 2 blown coverages in the end ended up kind of screwing you.
Yeah, no, and it just looks you look at the box score now, it just looks so much worse. But dude, we were sitting there, we were on pace. After the first quarter, he had 100. Then he had a 28-yard third or second quarter, and then his third quarter he had like 17, and then just got absolutely cooked. Josh Jacobs on a little wheeler out there. I'm pretty sure Warren got hurt, correct?
Yeah, he got no rush attempts. He got hurt instantly, so that was fun. Great way to start the day.
Yeah, and I guess I could never bet another Cowboy besides Tony Pollard ever, because Tony Pollard, I guess, is the number 1 receiver, number 1 running back, number 1 player on their entire roster, number 1 player in entire fantasy football, pretty much number 1 everything. And CeeDee Lamb just took a huge backseat. The chalk DFS goes down again. I know Lamb was the highest owned dude, and he obviously didn't come anywhere near it. Same thing with Jefferson. Just a tough game for anybody with those big-time guys. But we get to salvage it. Paris Campbell, I'm pretty sure what he had, like 60?
Yep. He got there. We doubled up on receptions, too, over on Twitter. So we got receptions and receiving yards. It was a little sweaty, though. He was sitting with, like, 3 catches for, like, 28 yards for like most of the game, and then had a nice like 30-40 yard catch at the end, which sealed the deal. So a lot of blowouts this week. I know we normally talk about the National Blowout Association in the NBA, but the NFL was, I mean, that I don't know if anyone won any bets on that Dallas Vikings game, right? Like it just killed any possible game script except, very small, like Dallas running back Pollard, I guess. Like it just, or Hawkinson receiving yards. He got like 8 checkdowns, I think. So unfortunate when a team is 37-3 in the third quarter. There's not really much you can do.
Yeah, no, it was frustrating, but we still are staying over the 10 unit mark. We lost, ended up losing like 2.3 units with everything. The half unit on that and our touchdown parlay, which didn't come through, which I blame Ron Rivera because he's a bum. But let's get into some NBA, and I never have to talk about Ron Rivera He's trying to push Mike McCarthy for my least favorite coach, and that's really hard to do. And that's like 8 years worth of Mike McCarthy hate that I have built up in me. But he's killing my fantasy leagues. So he's just trying to get up to number 2, and I think he's going to get there by next week, I'm sure. But
see, if you brought this energy like 5 weeks ago, I'd be so with you. I hated him so much, but hey, we're winning these games now, so I'm back on board, loving the system. I'm in.
I will be betting. Hopefully everyone in here goes out and bets Washington -3, and I get that 3.5, and I make that money because can't be cheering for a guy in Curtis Samuel or guy who won't run Brian Robinson inside the 5. So, yep, we're going Atlanta. Hopefully I get that 3.5 there for sure, but we'll see. All right, NBA, let's go. Some pretty good games on the docket. Any games that stand out to you before we get into it?
I mean, so no Wizards, obviously. For me, I guess Hawks Cavs is probably the most anticipated that I don't currently have a bet on because, I'm obviously more into the games I have my bets on. But those are two teams that obviously they could have some postseason aspirations this year. They have two interesting styles. I like the Cavs a lot, so I'm definitely going to be checking out that game.
Yeah, how about the Oklahoma City Thunder being a 2-point favorite against the New York Knicks tonight? 231 total. That one kind of caught my eye too. It's like you never really see the Knicks with the 230 totals until this year. Now they're willing to run. You got OKC
out for the Knicks. What's going on?
I don't think anybody is.
So
it's off a back-to-back for the Knicks though, and they just got beat by 30 by the Suns last night. So I don't know. It's a sketchy line, but I don't know. It's like what could it possibly be? It's like it's a sketchy line, but you don't know which way it's sketchy. Like it could be the books wanting you to bet the Knicks and just the Thunder thrash them, but we'll see. I will be taking it away here on the first one. I'll have 2 plays. Stu will have 1 for today's action. I know there's not many first quarter bets out at 10:30 a.m. Central time here. So my first play will be Nikola Vucevic tonight. I'll be taking point rebounds against Boston. I probably would not be anywhere close to this bet if Robert Williams was in there because I don't think that there's it's tough. It's a very tough spot to play when Robert Williams is playing. The dude is extremely, extremely versatile on the defensive end. And you don't have to worry about him, right? He hasn't played all season. I would love this matchup if they're going to give me Grant Williams down there against him. I'm pretty sure I've been seeing Cornette playing minutes for Boston, which sign me up. I will take that all day. Nikola Vucevic has hit 24 points, rebounds in 7 of his last 8 games, the only one being a blowout. That's really keeping him away. And this dude is just grabbing boards like crazy. 16 last game against the Magic, his old team. Dude was flirting with a triple-double in that game as well. Only averaging 14.8 points per game this month, but he's grabbing 12 boards, right? He's in the paint all the time. He's able to shoot threes. He absolutely cooked Boston earlier this year with a 24-12 game in that matchup. I just don't think there's anybody who can guard him on the outside if he decides to go out there. He's pretty good at shooting the three. We've seen that when he was with Orlando. And a lot of offensive rebounds going to be coming his way. I don't think anybody's going to be able to compete with him in the paint at all. Boston averaging 47.1 points per game allowed in the paint. And also, look at Vucevic. He's averaging 17 rebound chances per game. I don't know if there's really anybody on this Boston side that's going to be able to keep him out of there. I think he absolutely crushes these dudes. Obviously, you want to see the matchups everywhere else. But Boston has a great defense, right? They're great defensively. But without Robert Williams, the weakest point is the paint. That's where you're going to score your points. Obviously, Levine's got a tough matchup. I don't know if Smart's playing, but they said he might be. He's questionable. You still got Derek White out there, who's a pretty good defender when he was with the Spurs. there's a lot of good defending guys out here for Boston, and I think the easiest path of resistance is going to the paint. So sign me up for Vucevic. I think he absolutely crushes tonight.
Yeah, and the thing too is, right, a lot of people don't talk about it enough, but Boston, right, I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing the stats on Twitter that, oh, their offensive rating is the best in history so far. Oh, it's, just insanely good is the point. Even if they do have a good defense, when you're putting up that kind of offensive efficiency, the other team has to respond like naturally, right? It's just going to lead to these higher scoring games, which is why these totals are higher than we remember last year with Boston, right? It's because their offense has been so good this season that teams kind of have to respond on the other end. And exactly what you said, Vucevic should be able to kind of target the weaker part of this defense. I'd much rather deal kind of with the Payne and Horford and those kind of guys who are a little bit less mobile than the switching of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, Marcus Smart. All those kind of guards and wings are a lot scarier to me than Vucevic. So I agree with you. I think he has the best matchup right here, and I'll definitely be tailing this one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've been looking at his rebounding numbers, dude. Like, he's got some freaking pop-off games, dude. 15, 13, 12, 12, and 13 to start the month. That was his first 6 games. Like, that's just numbers you really don't see much from a guy who also has the ability to shoot threes, too. So really like that spot. And I like your spot a lot, too. Both guys I've been backing probably more than anybody. I love these two.
Oh, yeah. I love this combo right here. We're going Buddy Hield 3 threes and Miles Turner 7 rebounds, -120 in this Pacers Magic game. This was actually going to be my answer for what my favorite game is, but I kind of bet on it, so I wanted to give another one. But I love these bad team matchups, man. It's so fun to get these guys in games where it's less likely to be a blowout. And I really do think this is a great spot for Buddy Hield right here, who has been great this season. I mean, Buddy Hield so far this year is shooting 40% on 10 attempts a game from beyond the arc. That's insane, right? He's taking 10 threes a game and shooting at a 40% clip so far. That's also actually improved this month. He's at 42% so far this month on 4.0 attempts on 4.6 made on 10.6 attempts so far. And when you look at his shot quality, right, it's not like Buddy Hield's going to have a 20-point game without hitting this number for you, right? I mean, when you look at when he played the Magic, yes, last game, 5 for 12 from the field. 5 of those 11 shots were from 3. Every single shot except one was from beyond the arc right here. And he just gets so many great opportunities set up for him because of Tyrese Halliburton, right? Halliburton's having a great season so far. I believe he's up either first or top 2 in potential assists so far this season. He's just said, first. Okay, good. I didn't want to be wrong if he lost the throne so far and someone, angry typing at me. But he sets up so many great shots for the rest of his team right here, whether it's Miles Turner rolling at the rim, or Buddy Hield out on the perimeter. So absolutely love Buddy Hield 3 threes so far this season. He's hit this in every single game except 2 so far this season. One of those misses, he went 2 for 9. So obviously the volume was there. The other miss, he only played 16 minutes. I'm guessing that was an injury, and he went 2 for 6 in those 16 minutes. He was likely going to hit it. It's still in under 20 minutes right there. So Buddy Hield has just been extremely consistent so far this season. And so is Miles Turner. We're kind of buying on him a little bit. I wouldn't say we're buying low. I would just say the books still haven't adjusted yet. Miles Turner's been playing great so far this season. He has 7 rebounds in every single game that he's played 25 minutes against all season long, right? And you're obviously going to need that size against the Magic, right? Whoever plays, whether Wendell Carter plays or not. They've got Wendell Carter Jr., they've got Mo Bamba, they've got Bol down there. You can't play small against this team, right? You're obviously going to have those Turner minutes, and he's been playing 30 minutes pretty much every single game. So the first 2 misses, obviously, were 2 of his first 3 games of the season. He had 6 and 5 rebounds in 20 minutes. He's hit it every single game since, playing consistent minutes. Absolutely love these combos. I think this is what these guys do naturally. I'm not asking for anything hard. I'm asking for kind of the bare minimum for both these guys. So I love the hit rates on these two. I think this one should cash.
Yeah, you don't have to sign me up at all on any of these, dude. I love both these guys quite a bit. So I know I talked about Hield for points, rebounds, assists earlier. I talked about Turner. I love both of these guys. And obviously when he came off the injury too, they kind of gave him a little bit of a work-in type of role there. And obviously now he's rolling. But we're to my last play. It's my 1.5 unit play here. We got 20 of you guys in here. We appreciate all you guys. And let's get after it. Let's get after it. My biggest play of the day is going to be on Clint Capella. I absolutely loved what you talked about with Miles Turner having to play big in this game. He's going to have to be down in the paint. And I mean, what better bigs are there that combo than Jared Allen with Evan Mobley. Like, you can't play small on these guys. And that's always my biggest concern with Clint Capella is he going to be in the closing lineup? Is he going to be able to play all these minutes against bigs, right? Because we've seen him, he played against Boston, right? They're running out Grant Williams. That was who they were running out at the 5 in that game. Played 16 minutes, right? He got played off the court. They had to bring in Okongwu, right? You go up into all these other games that he's playing up against teams that are tough, right? Even against Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee's tough. I'm pretty sure that Brook Lopez was out on that game, so he had to play against Portis, right? He ended up with 12 rebounds, but only 5 points, only played 25 minutes. That's how efficient he is, though, in the paint. And now you have a great matchup, probably the best matchup for rebounds, and that's against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, right? So what I like to look at is there a center that's going to be in the paint? Let's look at Jared Allen, right? Jared Allen is top 5 in the shortest rebounding distance from the rim at 4.9 feet. And then you look at Clint Capella, he's actually number 3 at 4.6. He's going to be standing under there, right? You're not worried about threes from Jared Allen. He's going to be down there. You're going to have to be able to shot block down there when you're having Darius Garland driving at you, or Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell coming down there. He's going to have to be a focal point of this defense, because obviously I don't think that Atlanta's defense is really anything to write home about outside of the paint. But when you're seeing him hit that 30-minute mark in 3 of his last 4 games in competitive matchups, right, he's crushing it, right? 15 boards against Philly. He had 20 in 26 minutes against Philly in a back-to-back. It's crazy. This dude grabs rebounds better than anybody when he's down there. He's got one of the highest rebound percent conversion rates, right? It's 67%. Only guy that's really higher than him is Giannis, and Giannis is literally just running everywhere to get every rebound. So I love Capella. I think this is the perfect matchup for him. And outside of foul trouble, I really don't see how we don't get there.
Yeah, no, you brought up some great stats too. I like those rebound distance mentions right there of Jared Allen always being down there in the paint. And then, like you mentioned, so is Capella. I mean, we were on the same page too. For anyone, right before I hopped in here, I was telling him I bet a long shot, right? And one of them was Capella double in there. And you were like, oh, well, Capella rebounds is actually my biggest play today. And I was definitely fired up to hear that, because I had the exact same reasoning as you, right? I mean, Capella can't play against some of these smaller teams, right? When the Thunder throw out Pokachevsky at center, Capella just can't handle, right? He can't stay. It's not his fault. They're game scripting away from him, right? They want him out of there, but we know he has the ability when he's out there. This is a guy that people were constantly betting on last season at 14.5 rebounds. His line was up there. He is one of the best rebounders in the game when he's out there, and I don't see how they could possibly play against Mobley and Allen without him out there. So absolutely love Capella today. Definitely a smash spot right here, even though they're a good defense, no doubt, but it's the opportunity and it's the minutes that matter the most.
Yeah, and when is the last time you've seen him like consistently getting 32 plus minutes, right? You don't really see that unless you're getting those types of matchups like Joel Embiid. You have to have him out there. There's no other option. If you're not big enough, he's just going to baby you. Same thing. Jared Allen is actually very, very efficient when he gets the ball down there. I mean, it's obviously Donovan Mitchell shooting 75 times because he's a black hole, but I mean, other than that, like when he's grabbing offensive rebounds, you're going to need him in there because Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, twin towers down there. It is tough to match up with them. They're a very tough team to match up with, especially now with the Mitchell and Garland combo up top. This is a tough team to really deal with. Looking. I don't think we have any other questions. I think we did this one pretty quick here. I'll kick it to you for this one. Greg's asking about yours, but adding Capella to the ticket. Would you do something like that?
I mean, yeah, but like also I'd rather just play them separately, which is what I'm going to do. You know, like I do think you could do that, but it's not really my strategy of betting. You know, I like to have multiple options. Obviously, Capella could let me down, and then I'd be very disappointed if I lost the other two. Vice versa, right? Capella could cash your 1.5 unit. Buddy Hield could only have 2 threes after getting injured after 3 seconds into the game, because obviously he's going to make 2 threes in the first quarter, and he gets injured, and then you lose that bet. So I like to kind of limit my risk, have as many options as possible. So I don't really like to combine too crazy, you know?
Yeah, especially when you're back in bigs too, because there's always foul trouble issues, right? I mean, Turner has had some in the past, not this year, but in the past he has. Capella has in the past. Like, you're pretty much just saying both these guys are going to find a way to stay out of foul trouble, and I'd rather just have to worry about one guy because that's already hard enough, right? It's already hard enough to catch the one. I would probably, I would take it up. Maybe on the 11.5 is 1 unit and then a half and a quarter or something like that. I really like this rebounding spot, but like I said, fouls are always an issue, especially when you're facing two big guys. I'll kick it to you. Do you have any thoughts on Mobley there? Have you been paying attention to the Cavs at all?
I mean, Mobley, he's looked kind of good, like just on the kind of film I've been watching on him. But like, I don't know. It's hard for me to pick, to be honest. It's actually really hard for me to pick Cleveland guys because they have so many, right? How do I know it's going to be a Mobley day? Like you said, black hole Donovan Mitchell pulling up for his 10th three in the third quarter back there. Darius Garland was great last season. He's been good so far this year too, but we know that guy can score more than what he currently is doing. And I feel like any given day could kind of be a Garland day. Then, like you said, Allen is playing great as well. It's just hard for me to pick between those four guys that can all contribute on any given day. So for that reason, I'm really not going to be on Mobley straight that much unless another guy's injured.
Exactly. No, and this is the team I relate the Cavs to is the Pelicans. When they're at full strength, they are so hard to bet, right? I mean, you got Zion, you got Brandon Ingram, you got CJ McCollum, but immediately, once one of them goes down, you find out who's better without him, right? Without Zion, we bet on CJ last show, right? That's literally how I do it. But guess what? I am not betting any Pelicans at full strength. No way. I don't do it. The same thing here. There's only a certain amount of shots. You're playing a slow pace always. The Cavs are always one of the slower teams. Obviously, it's a little bit of a pace up spot, but I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. I think the pace up spot is added into this play already. I think that it would probably be like 12 or 13 if it was a slower pace, like the Knicks or something like that. It's so hard. It's so hard to bet these teams when there's only so much usage that can go around.
Yep. And to Jay mentioned the Kings being so hard too. But the thing is, the Kings score like 140 points a night. So there's more points to go around. The Cavs, in a perfect world, they win their game like 99-88. You know what I mean? And that's way, way less opportunity. While the Kings, they're having fun out there. You know, they're just tossing around, running in transition. So at least the Kings kind of afford you a couple more opportunities per game than the Cavs, who slow things way down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and just look at the average team totals. Like the Kings, it's tough to find the Kings under 114 team total, like ever, just because of the pace. And when you're running two bigs out there, it's tough to run like that. And they don't really give a shit about giving up 120. I mean, look at the Lakers game, 154 to 121, and they win by 30, blow them out. They don't care. They gave up 121 points, but that's probably the worst in the NBA, but they don't care. You know, it's just like, we're going to keep going, and they win, and they're finding a way to win. I don't really know how, but they are. But I don't think we have any other questions in here. If you guys have any more questions, shoot them our way. We'll go through our recap here. And if we see any, we will get to them today. I'll kick it to you for your one play, and then I'll finish it up.
I'm going Buddy Hield 3 threes plus Miles Turner 7 rebounds -120 same game parlay over on DraftKings.
Beautiful. And I'll be back in 2 centers tonight. We have 3 centers on the show. I love to see it. Vucevic over 25.5 points plus rebounds against the Boston Celtics tonight. I'm back in Clint Capella over 11.5 rebounds, -105. Great price. 1.5 unit play over on DraftKings facing off against the Cavaliers. Turbo brought up anything for Monday Night Football. I have nothing right now. I haven't even looked at it. I had World Cup this morning, and obviously this. So I have nothing NFL related. Is there anything for you that you've been seeing?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, England-Iran under was not the move this morning for anyone out there.
You didn't bet that, did you?
Live and learn. That's what you say. Sometimes
you bet the under?
You know, sometimes you make mistakes. First game, I was reading some things. I was a little bit misguided, but that's okay. We make mistakes. For Monday Night Football, I like Jimmy G in this game. I do. I'm going to try to find a way to bet on Jimmy G against a Cardinals team that blitzes a lot and has very little success actually blitzing and getting to the quarterback. But I haven't figured out quite yet. I'll have an article out a little bit later.
Yeah, no, we started out the World Cup 1-0. We ended up cashing England's first half. Ended up cashing that one pretty easily, 3-0 first half. Rolling a Netherlands play at the moment, and I'll be on the U.S. I believe I sent you those there as well. So hopefully those can all come through. Netherlands not looking too hot. Still 0-0, but they're significantly better than Senegal on the offensive side. So yeah, I'm excited to watch the World Cup. I'm excited to get after that, but NFL is kind of taking a backseat to the World Cup at the moment for me. Yes. So you guys can all go see the World Cup. We don't want you guys watching in here while that's on. I will have it on. I will be heading over to watch that. This is a good stat too. Seattle and Cardinals really tight ends anytime against those two. It's just going to come down to routes, just how many they run. Obviously, Kittle's fantastic, but
it's hard because Kittle, some of his best moments were actually kind of playing that check down role when CMC wasn't fully integrated, right? He was kind of almost that safety blanket, kind of similar to what the Vikings are doing with TJ Hawkinson over there. But once CMC came back and now that Juszczyk is back, there's so many guys that can kind of fill that check down role. It's really hard for me to pick 49ers weapons right now because I like the Kittle look too. Kittle and Ayuk both jumped off the page to me over there, but it's hard. I don't know. But yeah, we've got a World Cup a little bit sooner. So are you going to be making play of the day videos on that? Because I need some better World Cup bets than what
I already said them to you. That's all I'm betting. Those 3 bets are all I have for today. I'm on the first half draw in the United States game. I'll give that out. I had the first, like I said, I had first half in that one. I just think that first half is going to be all these young US dudes kind of playing not to lose. I think that's how it's going to start out. I think that's how we've seen it. I mean, even England didn't allow a goal for the first 30 minutes, right? Nobody scored, right? They're just trying to play around, get their feet wet a little bit. But obviously the talent of England is another level, right? They're another level. Obviously Bellingham out there too just looked fantastic on his goal. And it's just so wide open when you can run Grealish out there for like the last 30 minutes. Like, that's not even fair. You're bringing Grealish off the bench. It's freaking nuts, dude. England's going to be tough. This is really going to decide if the U.S. makes it because obviously England's going to make it. England is the best team of the group, but this game, right? I think it's going to tie. It just screams tie to me. Nobody wants to lose this one. It's going to fuck a lot of people up, I think. I think a lot of people are just going to be like, USA, bet. But books are too good, dude. They're too good on soccer. They're giving you a plus 155 and a 210 on the other side. It's just asking for a draw. So I'm playing first half draw. I think it's minus 108 is where I saw my last one. So that'll be my only – I'll give you out a soccer pick. The first ever pass the prop soccer pick from me. So I do bet soccer a lot. It's just, World Cup is the biggest. So I'll be riding that. So You got anything for the people before we head out? 35 minutes. Perfect. 25 you guys in here. We appreciate all you guys. What do you got for us?
Yeah, no, like I said, I'll have an article out for the 33rd team in the next couple hours talking about this Sunday night football game. And like you mentioned earlier, I'll have some first quarter stuff out there as well once that populates a little bit more for the NBA. So yeah, just looking forward to all that stuff, ready to keep the winning streak going and watch some World Cup. And like Terrence said, I don't know if me and Justin are going to be the most popular out there at the bars with we want this game to tie tickets, but that's okay. We can still root for a second half win because I'm in with you on that.
Yeah, no. And that's why I did that because I could easily see this game tying, but I don't want to fucking root for that. I don't want to root for it. So I'm going to root for it for the first half. And then hopefully the United States can come through and finish it because I'm not going to just root for a tie. I'll only bet the first half tie because I truly think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be really fucking boring for a while, but they were smart putting England as the first game because you knew goals were coming in that game and you want people to watch. You want to see a 6-2 game. So that was definitely a smart. I don't know if they were smart in doing that, like advertising that, or if it was just luck, but a lot of people probably tuned in for that and they're like, hey, this is nice. And now see the Netherlands 0-0 through the first half. So they did a very good job of putting England out there at that time to make sure that people are watching in on some awesome matches. If you guys don't watch soccer, this is definitely the time to do it, right? I mean, World Cup is awesome. It's cool to watch there. So make sure you tune in for that. Obviously, watch the U.S. game or match. Sorry, I'm in football mode, so saying game all the time, and now I gotta say match, but should be great. Obviously, you throw those USA colors on, but I'll be ready for this NBA slate. It's massive. Again, another great NBA slate. We've been blessed on our Monday, Wednesday, Fridays to be able to have all of these good games because there's been a lot of times where we've come on and then we've just got shit to talk about there. So thank you guys for adjusting with us on this new time. Make sure you follow both of us over on Twitter, which I'm assuming most of you guys do, but make sure you have those notifications on to know if we're switching stuff up just because holidays and all that stuff. Just trying to make sure we still get out content for you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know if you're tailing. And if you guys aren't in here live, you still can drop your questions on the video afterwards. So thank you guys. Have a good one, and go USA.